Send it to your left. He's coming with her lap. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Finance and Audit Committee meeting of the California High-Speed Rail Authority's Board of Directors for August the 28th, 2025. So we'll first ask the secretary to call the roll.
Chair Richards,
Here.
Director Camacho,
Here.
Vice Chair Miller.
Here.
Chairperson, we have a quorum.
Thank you. So I'd like to just make a quick announcement. You note that those of you who follow us and have been here or on any other form of communication, that Jim Gelmetti is not here, and Jim decided, much to our angst, that it was time that he wanted to retire. So he has withdrawn from this committee and from his participation as a board member in the board of directors for the authority. So he's going to be sorely missed and worked very hard, both in front of the microphone and behind, and was a huge help and benefit to this project and to each of us. So we wish him well, and sorry he decided to leave us at this time. And with that, we will also now ask our secretary if you can tell the people here or calling in how they can make comments to us.
At this time, we have not received any in-person requests for public comment. If you're joining us online, please use the raise your hand feature on the Zoom app. If you're dialing in by phone, you can hit #2.
Yeah.
There's no public comment at this time.
I guess we got everybody's attention then, or nobody's attention. That's probably. All right. Well, thank you. Then we'll move into the agenda this morning. The item number 1 is the approval of the July 10th committee meeting. Do we have a motion?
Moved.
And a second? We have a motion and second. All in favor? I'm not going to ask you to do this. All in favor? We must. Okay. Thank you.
It
All right.
carries.
Moving into the meat of our committee meeting this morning will be the financial update from Jamie Metallica, our CFO. Good morning, Jamie.
Good morning, Chair Richards, Vice Chair Miller, Director Camacho.
Today I'll be covering the August 2025 financial reports executive summary with data through June 2025. The reports present the closeout of the prior year for the full fiscal financial data of 24-25.
Can you get a little closer to the
Yeah, sorry.
microphone?
Okay, hopefully that's a little bit better.
Yeah, thank you.
In addition, I just want to share one note. When we do complete a fiscal year, the authority's financial office completes our financial reports that are required for the state reporting. And our deadline is September 2nd. We're on track to submit those actually a day earlier than the timeline, although there is a holiday, so we will be submitting it on time. So jumping into the report, we'll start with slide 2. We continue our timely payment of invoices with no late payments to report for the period. As for the dispute summary portion, we did have a large dispute occur during the reporting period that peaked our disputes up to over 300. That was for a CP1 contractor due to a compliance issue that was subsequently resolved. And we did end up paying that in the next reporting cycle. So we'll see that clear in next month's report. At the bottom half of the slide, the cash management report reflects total cash position of approximately $4 billion, comprised of $305 million in Prop 1A funding, $3.8 billion in cap and trade funding, and $12 million in our rail property fund. These balances do not include the additional funds from the May 2025 cap and trade auction, although we know they will be reflected in the next month's report. Next slide, please.
Before you
yeah.
leave that one for a moment, Jamie, the numbers are small in comparison to the balance of the project. But is there some, and it may be in here, but I didn't find it, but is with regards to the rail property management fund, so we had 158,000 in revenue and 146 in expenditures. Is there some sort of schedule that you have without asking you to have to do one that would just identify the properties that are in it and what the revenue is and what the expenditures are? And
Yeah.
if there's some detail on the expenditures, if these are all things you've already got, would you forward a copy of whatever that might be to the
Absolutely.
members of the committee, please?
Yeah, we categorize this in 3 buckets, commercial, residential, and agricultural. And we have 28 properties that are commercial, 11 that are residential, and 17 that are agricultural.
Okay.
So we can start putting some notes into here to provide a little bit more detail about our revenue
Okay.
schedule.
And are they all leased?
Yes,
Okay, great.
and that's where the revenue comes from.
Yeah, I realize that. I just didn't know that whether they were all leased or not. And then looking at the expenditures, which almost equal the revenue, wouldn't be the way we'd like to do it in the private sector at least, but maybe we could take a quick look.
Absolutely.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, next slide, please. Okay, for the administrative budget and expenditures report, we achieved a 77% utilization of the budget for the fiscal year. The high note for this reporting period is the excellent work by our human resources team. They finalized 21 recruitments in the reporting period. Now, that was offset by 10 separations, but our vacancy rate was reduced from 24% to just under 22%, a 10% reduction. Okay, next slide, please.
And before you do that one, just at the risk of being told that I'm looking at the wrong thing, but on the first row at the right-hand side, the current month budget at 108.9, and looking down at your first note, I think it's referencing 110.9. Is that?
Yes. So, this budget does mirror what is accepted and adopted by the state for the overall state budget. So adjustments are made throughout the year for salary wages adjustments, austerity measures, reductions. Like we were discussing back in January, the governor had proposals to reduce positions and
Right.
dollars to reduce the budget. Our budget was not immune to that. We did receive a reduction that has flowed through. That brings our total available for last year to 108.9 million from
Okay.
110.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Okay. For our capital outlay report, Our expenditures for the period were approximately 166.4 million, bringing our 24-25 fiscal year total up to almost $1.5 billion. That is a 76% utilization of our budget. Now, again, we don't utilize all the capital outlay budget because there is contingency in that budget that potentially we could use or not use depending on how risks mature or issues come up. The breakout table at the bottom half of the slide provides a summary of the expenditures for the full year against our budget, our forecast, and then a percentage of utilization. I'll see if there's any questions on this slide.
No.
No? Okay, next slide, please. For our total project expenditures report summary, we provide information on both expenditures by funding source and total funding by source, providing updates on the program's baseline cumulative funding and expenditures. Updates for this reporting cycle reflect expenditures of $14.6 billion to date, with the state covering nearly 83% of that and the federal portion at 17.6%. At the bottom half of the slide, our total funding mostly coming from the state sources at 76% and the remaining at 23% from the federal sources. Now, this total does include federal funds currently in litigation and the recent events that are occurring with federal funds. Okay, next slide. On our state match and federal drawdowns of funding, we proceed with the work that is at hand, showing monthly updates on our drawdowns. In June, we did submit a grant package to the FRA for approval to begin drawing down on a smaller grant that is housed within the last line here where we label other grants under 1 million. It was for the Corridor ID grant. We submitted $110,000 in eligible expenditures. In the subsequent report, you'll see that we did actually get reimbursed for those funds. Okay, that was the only update as far as drawdowns for this slide. Moving on to the next slide. For the contracts and expenditures report, it reflects a net increase of 6 contracts, bringing our total to 203 contracts for a total value of $12.7 billion. At the bottom half of the slide, we provide an update on our progress against our KPIs for our small business goals. The pre-November 2023 goals were met and exceeded for both the disabled veteran business enterprises and disadvantaged business enterprises. And while the goals for small business were not fully met in both scenarios, the program did achieve a strong participation rate of 24%. And we are at 936 small businesses actively working on this project, which includes 328 DBEs and 117 certified DVBEs. Okay, next slide, please. This slide provides a summary of our contingency usage, which reflects 10 change orders executed during the period for a total of approximately $54 million and 1 contract amendment issued for approximately $6.6 million. The contract amendment was for our partner, our regional consultant partner, STV, to extend that contract to help support achieving the LA to Anaheim record of decision environmental document. The change orders are covered in our Central Valley status report, which will be covered by our Director of Construction, our Chief of Construction, Ed Finn. Okay.
Yeah, can you just do the detail briefly on the CP23 contingency?
Yeah, absolutely. So what occurred there was we had a couple bridges that at original time of bid were actually going to be embankment rather than an elevated structure. And through design advancement, understanding the typology, the hydrology of that area in this drainage basin, we shifted to a elevated structure for 2 bridges, the Lakeland and Alpaw Bridge. One is an 8-span, one is a 3-span bridge, and it's about 600 linear feet of elevated structure for both of them, thus requiring a change order to compensate the contractor to build those structures.
And the contractor is the one who initiated the request for the change?
Well,
This
no,
goes way back. I
yeah, it goes
understand.
way back to, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, and this is alignment, so it's actually initiated by us as the design was progressing. Okay, next slide. Okay, now for our look ahead report, we present preliminary numbers for next month's report to provide some updated data of what is to come. We provided in three areas: the capital expenditures, the administration, summary of positions, and federal grants. We will see a small decline in our total expenditures. For our CP packages, they'll be about slightly decline from 92 to 87. On our administrative positions, we will see the vacancy rate increase because we will have our new positions that have just newly been authorized as part of the state budget July 1st. So we got 18 new positions from two budget change proposals that were approved by the legislature and the administration. One is for 13 positions to support our NEPA delegation, supporting other statewide projects so that they can get through their environmental clearance. And then 5 positions for our IT office for operational technology and data integration. Again, this is for information technology integration and security technology required for us to prepare for train operations. This is staffing resources in our IT office to help with that. Then on the federal grant summary, nothing new to report there as far as drawdowns or actions for next month's reporting. And that'll conclude my presentation for today. Happy to answer any questions.
Any questions for Jamie? Thank you, Jamie.
Thank
you. Mr. Finn? Good morning, Ed.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman, Vice Chairman, committee members. I'm going to walk you through our Central Valley status report today. In summary, for the month of June, our total expenditures for our CP packages, it was $92.3 million, the majority in package 1. Change orders, our CFO, Jamie Metalka, kind of detailed that. That's the Lakeland and Alpa structures that need to be elevated based on hydraulic requirements. The construction labor for June 2025, we're at 1,509 workers. The craft is consistent. Our subs fluctuate through the months. You will see that later. And then on progress, we're at 59% for both our structures and guideway. Currently, we're working on 37 active locations. Utility relocations, we've relocated 1,578. Right now, we have 93 in progress. Not started is 146. We're actually pursuing that. When looking at the utilities in detail, there's a handful that are critical to us that we're tracking closely. A lot of them are ancillary at this point. Similar with the right-of-way, 99.2%. We have two parcels that we're closely tracking. The rest are not impacting our guideway or the follow-on contractors at this point. The railhead itself, there's been good progress there with the team. There's a completion of October 3rd for that railhead there, and the overall site will be completed by the end of the year, that being perimeter fence and subgrade of the entire site there. From colleagues in planning and engineering office, I could just summarize. I think Mr. Metalka also addressed this as well. We have the from Palmdale to Burbank, the route has been completed. Los Angeles, Anaheim, advancing deliveries towards the completion of that EIS. Planning and engineering also. So our two segments, M2M and LGA, we've achieved 30% design on both those extensions. Currently working with prioritizing utilities and right-of-way for those two sections. Next slide, please. Here's a slide of our expenditures, our monthly expenditures. Again, summarizing the 87.6 that Mr. Metalka had addressed. We see fluctuations through this. We expect a more positive trend as we get towards the end of the year here. as more areas have opened up for us. Next slide, please. And here's the construction labor. As mentioned, the craft on the ground is relatively consistent. We're seeing peaks and valleys based upon subcontractor needs on the program itself. Again, we expect to uptick in this location as well. And if we go to the next slide here, so here's a summary of the progress of our structures. You know, obviously we have the 92 total. Recently, recent openings are Tulare Street, which was a big one for us, and Avenue 88. Another notable progress in the recent past is the starting Shaw Avenue in CP1 as well. When we get to September, we'll have only a few structures remaining to start. That would be Olive and Houston Avenue, and those are both tied up with utilities that we discussed before. We're tracking closely there. Next slide, please. For Guideway, out of the 119 miles that we have, we could see our completion currently at 59%. Towards September, we get, you know, a higher number of 65%. Guideway is also increasing. We put down 300,000 cubic yards in the last 4 weeks. So we'll see that number significantly uptick as we go there. Again, it's the function of having more areas open because our right of way and utilities are out of the way in order to do that work. Next slide, please. Another depiction of the progress here on structures and Guideway. This is for 2025. It shows in essence by the end of the year for structures that all our structures will be either started or in progress or completed. So we'll have all of them started, and we'll have 65 complete by the end of the year. On the Guideway portion, again, it shows, you can see that basically the diving down of the gray there, which means that we're getting more of the Guideway in place by the end of the year. 2026, this shows the plan for completion here, both from structures and Guideway. On the start of the year, you know, we'll have the 68 structures complete with 24 remaining, and you see the drawdown through the end of the year. You know, we do have a couple critical structures that, you know, we're tracking closely, being Houston Ave, which is our critical structure on CP23, and then also the Fresno Trench on CP1. So that's where our focus is. On Guideway, that's kind of follow on. We'll have that in place before the completion of structures for the CP contracts. Next slide, please. So here's utility relocations. Spoke briefly about this. Out of the 1,826 that we have 146 right now that are not started. September, we'll have 123. Discussing, we have a couple areas that are critical to utility relocations, that being Houston Ave that we mentioned before, also on Idaho. And, you know, there's, like I said, there's 6 that we're tracking closely. There's a lot of these are ancillary, still need to be complete, but we're in a good position as far as impacting structures. Except for those 2. Here's just another summary of the utility relocations. I don't think there's a need to kind of walk through that in detail. We go to next slide. Here's our right-of-way slide. In essence, you see right now we have 6 remaining for right-of-way. And again, these are not impacting our critical path at this point. They still need to be complete. Some of them need to be follow-on work needs to be done. Some of these are related to utilities as well. But the good message here is this is not impacting our CPs at this moment.
And I assume there's no exposure to a need for additional parcels anywhere since we're so far down the road now.
I would say that is accurate. You know, I think there's much less of unknowns at this point. We know the unknowns. So, you know, our team is confident in that. So we're confident. I never say never, but I think we're in a very good spot. Right-of-way railroad, excuse me. So there'll be 7 left. Those are with BNSF for access roads and ancillary work. Again, no guideway impact for railroad right-of-way. This slide here shows our earned value on CP1. We basically have the center gray line is the planned target. You will see that we are below that target line, which means that we have to accelerate and increase production as we go forward. I mean, there are some positives to this. One right-of-way entry with the San Joaquin Valley Railroad we just achieved, which opens up a lot of work for us. So again, as more areas of work open for us, we anticipate production to increase. Certainly a challenge, but we're all focused on the next 3 months of increasing production. Here's Boston's railhead overview. Pictures don't really do it justice. The majority of the track is in place. We just had a call with BNSF 2 days ago. The railhead will be complete by October 3rd. The track and structure itself, and I think as mentioned, the overall site itself will be the end of the year, where we'll get the perimeter fence and all the sub ballast down on the ground in anticipation of material deliveries coming in mid to late 2026. And I believe that concludes my presentation.
Thank you. Any questions? Thank you, Ed, very much.
No, I just want to say, I'm
Sure, go
just
ahead.
happy to hear that our right-of-way is pretty much complete, because that's been something for years we've been agonizing over. So thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, that does complete the short agenda that we've got for the committee today. Are any questions or comments from my colleagues? All right, seeing that our board meeting is at what time? 9:30. So please join us, if you will, at 9:30 at the board meeting today. With that, the Finance and Audit Committee meeting is resigned.